Hello and welcome to the very first episode of Milk and Whiskey. This is Sarah and Jill coming at you live, except for it's not really live because we pre-recorded it because we don't got time to do shit, right, Jill?
Right. We don't got time.
Which is kind of what this podcast is about, this episode, but we'll get to that in a second. First off, we wanted to introduce ourselves. My name is Sarah. I run an Instagram blog account, I guess you'll call it. It is _bottled ambition if you want to follow me, which you should, because, I don't know, in my opinion, I'm fucking awesome. And,
hell yeah, she is.
Thanks. And I post about lifestyle, fashion, and beauty. And Jill.
Hi, I'm Jill, and I run the Instagram called Case of the Mom Days, not to be confused with Case of the Mondays.
And it's Case of the Mom Days with a Z, guys. Just want to make sure you know that, because she's too cool
good
to
point.
do the S.
Good point. And my Instagram just talks about my journey through motherhood.
Yeah, so we thought that it would be kind of fun to bring us together for anybody who doesn't know us, which is probably just everybody who's listening to this podcast, unless there's family out there. Hello, Aguinaldo Gomez crew. We are cousins, and we've always been kind of like crazy cousins. We always get ourselves into antics, or as they would say in Filipino culture, antiques. Was that spot on? Did I do it good?
And it's so true. It's so
we
true.
do when we're together.
We got into.
Mm-hmm. And honestly,
am I allowed to swear on this?
Yes, you are. Dear God, that was going to be my other thing I was going to say is that we are unfiltered here. We're just going to talk to you guys and talk to each other. Yeah, I mean, Jill and I even have alcohol right now.
Yeah, happy hour with milk and whiskey,
yeah.
Duh.
Except for this will probably go up sometime in the morning, but, you know, you do you. If you need that shot of whiskey in the morning, no judgment. No judgment.
5 o'clock somewhere.
So this podcast is meant to come to you with two different but kind of the same perspectives. They're related perspectives. I am a newlywed. Jill is a brand new mom. And we're just talking about real shit out there that women face today, or even guys too, and just giving you our perspectives and our commentary on life, love, family, and also, you know, trying to navigate social media because it's a brand new world, which brings me to the topic of today's podcast, our very first podcast that we are calling The Balancing Act. We're talking about what it's kind of like to try to balance all of the different obligations and responsibilities that we as young adults have today through, you know, whether it's family, work, school if you're still going, or if you're trying to be like us and you're trying to balance your Instagram or blog account because I don't want to freaking work anymore. I just want to run my damn Instagram account as my job.
Can I get a fucking amen
Dear
for that?
God.
I mean, Jesus, I'm right there with you. Someone sponsor us, please.
Dear God, sponsor us. We're so fun. I mean, I'm sure you're already in stitches right now laughing at us within the first, where are we, 3 minutes? 3 minutes, 48 seconds? Congratulations, and you're welcome for the joy. But we know that it's something that all women face out there, whether you have a kid like Jill or you're just married like me and trying to move out of your dinky little apartment. Although it's not that dinky. I do have a 2-bedroom with a backyard.
Yeah.
Shout out for that, because Jill lives up in SF, and that was crazy when you told me what your apartment was. It was like a 1-bedroom?
Oh my God. A 1-bedroom, and it's crazy. 1 bedroom, 500 square feet. It's probably the size of a closet. We're paying $3,200 a month, you know, an arm and a leg. It's rough out here in San Francisco.
Yeah, dude, I'm paying like less than $2,000 for mine. I mean, not that much less than $2,000. Like, I'm like probably like 19-ish hundred, somewhere in there. But yeah.
Lucky son of a gun.
But we know a lot of women out there are busy, so we thought that this would be a great first topic because everyone's just trying to get that hustle.
That's what we're trying to do. Get Instagram famous. Get sponsored, yo.
We don't want to go to work.
Are you drinking that whiskey right now?
I am,
because I'm sipping on my rosé.
I love the fact that, like, we were like, let's go get liquor. Let's go grab liquor to record this. And you go and grab rosé.
I know. The only thing I had on hand, it was on sale at Safeway, okay?
Is that what happens when you
I
have
can't
kids?
I can't afford nice stuff anymore.
Oh, man. So how is it balancing a kid and work and family?
This is a good segue into the introduction of my Instagram. So my Instagram's called Case of the Mom Days, and basically it's me showing my journey through motherhood. It's me sharing everything from the sleepless nights to celebrating the many little milestones. And to tell you the truth, becoming a mom was not in the plan at all. It was not in my plan. Right? Yeah, we were selfish. We wanted to travel. I had a whole bucket list of what I wanted to do before having kids. And, this just kind of happened. But sometimes things that go unplanned are the best things that happen to you. And as tiring as it is to be a mom, as hard as it is to be a mom, I don't know what my life would be like without my son. So, yeah, I mean.
He's a perfect little guy. I love him. He's so cute.
Thank you. I mean, he's a little fucking monster.
He's a bit of a hellraiser from your post.
Yes, he is. And that's okay. I love him to death, but you know what? We do what we got to do.
How is it though? I mean, you have a very demanding job. For those of you who don't know, which again is everybody, I don't know why I keep saying that. This is our first podcast. It's not like people know us. But Jill is a nurse, which is so demanding. I don't even know how you have the energy when you get home at night after being on your feet all day, helping to save lives.
I know. I think it's a huge adrenaline rush to me, honestly. Like, you kind of just, when you get thrown into that situation, you are just in a whole nother level. It's like game time for you. And that's how it is for me. Yes, I'm running on 45 minutes of sleep and I'm going to go into work a full 8-hour day and I got to be on my A game, but it's fight or flight. And I'm a fucking fighter.
Yeah, no, you
just
are.
Tell you that.
I mean,
I think it runs in our blood, to be honest.
Exactly. Guys, if you check out her Instagram, she is straight up like FaceTiming her son on her lunch breaks. She is making it work no matter what.
Yeah, that's so true.
And also,
that's
you're
so
running
true.
like a household because you guys have like the house right now. So, and
oh my God, it's like, yeah.
It's not a small place, and you have dogs. I mean, you have one dog, but there's three dogs total living there, right?
Yeah, we're like an SPCA almost. That's what I feel like. We're like a fucking SPCA
I'm gonna get
in
you
this
a cat
house
for
with a newborn.
I'm just gonna round it out for you guys.
It's crazy. It is crazy. It is nonstop. There is no me time right now. I mean, I know as the kid gets older and whatnot, I will find me time, but right now, all I'm putting first is my son. My son comes before me right now. And some people may disagree with that, but that's what works for me.
Hey, I mean, like, every mom does things their own way. There's no one right way to do things. From what I've heard, I don't know. I'm childless, except for the fur babies. Which, I'm okay with right now.
Kind of close to having a baby.
Really? Is it?
I was a fur mom before I became a mama. Like, it gives you that sense of responsibility, Like, you can't always stay out all night, I'm sure, because I'm sure you're thinking about, oh my God, I gotta let Spartacus out because he probably has been holding his bladder for so long. Or, oh, I gotta go home to feed Pip and Spartacus. So
I like how you hesitated before you said Pip. Pip is my cat who gets so neglected.
I know he does, and I know, and but he looks like a little kitty, seriously, and he's like what, 20 years old?
No, oh my God, no, he turned 18 in August, and we didn't even realize it.
Jesus,
whoops!
Oh my God, he literally has so fucking 20 lives out here.
I know. We're convinced that he's immortal. Like, one of our neighbors accidentally, like, he somehow got loose, and one of our neighbors, like, accidentally took him in for a little while, and they took him to the vet because they noticed he had a runny nose, and the vet estimated him to be 4 years old. And I was like, this motherfucker is 17 years old. He's never going to die. What the hell? I swear, he's not.
I know. Like, he has been put through the ringer and he just comes out even stronger.
I know. And, like, I feel bad saying that because, like, someday, I'm mentally prepared for it. He will pass. And I'm going to feel bad for all those times that I was like, this cat's never going to die.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you know what? He's holding on strong. Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me more about, you are now newly married.
Oh, yes.
How is it any different than before you guys got married? Because you guys were currently living together before, you guys signed the papers and put a ring on it and yada, yada, yada.
Yeah, we'd been living together for about 7 years. We'd been together for about 10. I know, right? I took him to my senior prom, guys. Like, that's how long it was.
That's a long fucking
I know, it's a decade. It's like, the fact that you can put like a name on the time frame is like pretty significant. I mean, honestly, that's been one of my favorite questions is like, how is married life different? I'm like, the end of my signature looks all fucked up because I don't know how to spell Newberry yet. I mean, I know how to spell it, but like in cursive, I can't do that like gracefully like I can with Gomez. But I mean, it's been good. We've always been in a good groove as a couple, so it just makes it permanent, which like doesn't scare me. I don't want to speak for him and say it doesn't scare him, but the way he's always talking, like it doesn't seem to scare him. I mean, he even sent me flowers at my work the other day saying like, I'm so happy to be married to you. I know he's trying to win brownie points before he gets in trouble. Smart strategy.
Oh my God, he's so sweet. I love him. Boo Boo Bear.
I know, we call him Boo Boo Bear. I know, he's been really great. And he's also, a really supportive guy. If I want to go out with my girlfriends, he does that. So he lets me kind of find my balance as I need to with everything, going on, because there's so many girls or situations where people, they get married or they start dating even, and they just like cocoon themselves and they never see like their friends or anything again. So he's like really great about helping me or like letting me do what I need to do to find that balance of keeping my social life and my girlfriends, because all my girlfriends and I have been friends since high school. And then he's also he's been very, very supportive of me doing Instagram. I used to have like a straight up blog account a couple years ago that died. I think I just like completely stretched myself too thin, and I wanted to bring it back because Jill had inspired me. She called me about her Case of the Mom Days account, and she was like, I want to start a blog account. Tell me about yours. And I was like, I'm not doing it anymore. And it made me realize like, wait, why am I not doing it? And honestly, at the time, like life had just gone away from me. We were engaged. We were wedding planning, which is a whole nother.
You had a lot on your hands.
Oh my God. That was a whole nother mess. I had gotten laid off. So I was trying to find a new job. So it was just craziness. And that's why I wasn't running it. So when I got back and I decided I wanted to start up Bottled Ambition again, I really had to look at, I know what my schedule's like. I know how busy I can get. What is going to be content that I'm going to want to make the effort to generate? What is going to be, things that I'm excited about? And right now my account just really focuses on outfits of the day and product reviews, because I was a fashion merchandising major. I love getting dressed up. I drag Trevor out of bed before I go to work, make him shoot a picture of me. Because that's how we balance that. I know. But like even today was a balance because like both of us actually were up late last night, and I didn't want to like drag him out of bed to snap a picture of me. So Jill and I actually kind of like pushed back the time of recording our this podcast right now, because I needed to go shoot an outfit of the day picture with Trevor when I got home from work. And then like I know Jill, like you had to go work out with Cole really quick. It's all about finding the pockets of time and making allowances where you can. It didn't mean that we were going to push off this podcast and not do it, but we were just going to work around our schedules. And honestly, he's super great about that. And
can I just say, sorry to interrupt, but can I just say that like there is nothing better in a relationship than, obviously, I think number one is communication.
Absolutely.
I think communication is fucking key. But what I've noticed between you two, because I feel like I've been there from day one, is the fact that you guys truly support each other. Yes, Trevor may have to fucking wake up 10 minutes before his alarm goes off just to snap a picture of you. But the fact that he's supporting you in doing this, that's something you're passionate about. I feel like these are one of the, keys to success in a relationship, in a marriage, in just
Yeah.
In a relationship in general, I guess I can say. And like, I freaking love Trevor because he is down for you. He is the epitome of ride or die. He is the epitome of going to hell and back with you. And that, yeah, you guys, seriously, you guys are two peas in a pod. You guys are seriously meant for each other. And I'm so happy that you guys are finally fucking married.
That was everybody's like first comment when we like announced that we were engaged and getting married, was like, finally. They're like, what took you guys so long? I don't know, ask him. He was dragging his feet. I don't know.
Yeah, it's so annoying when you see people that are together for like 1 year and then they're engaged and you're like, wait, what? Like, you guys have only together for like 1 year and here I am like 10 years later.
I know. But honestly, yes, Trevor's great, but not to take any credit away from Cole. Because, I mean, I see his comments on your Instagram where like you... first off, your captions on your Instagram about like, they're so real and so raw. Like you leave it all out on the table about like what it's really like to be trying to balance, you know, work and being a brand new mom and finding your path and like your way as a mom. And you're very candid about those struggles. And I love seeing Cole's responses and comments on your Instagram because he's always like, yes, babe, you're the greatest mom ever. I love how supportive he is because I know that it's been, first off, it was a surprise. It was a blessing and a surprise, but the fact that he's so like 100% all about you and like he's so public about it is so sweet. And also, by the way, for those of you out there who like food, he is it SF food guy or San Francisco food guy?
San Francisco food guy. So please follow him.
But he's so supportive of you.
He is. And I'm very appreciative of him. Like, I feel that me and Cole we're very similar to you and Trevor, where we have been together for 10 plus years. I've known him since I was 16 years old and he's been with me since we were 17 and we also have gone through hell and back. You know, you don't see a lot of relationships like ours where it's still thriving to this day, you know?
Yeah.
And I think, like I said, like, and I totally sound like a broken record, but I cannot express it enough that I feel that communication and support is like, it's truly one of the keys to a successful relationship, and laughter.
Yeah.
I'm all about bringing some humor into the relationship. You got to spice it up somehow.
Absolutely. You got to have laughter in a relationship. I mean, there's so much going on today that like young people have to balance. You know, back in the day and when our parents were growing up, it was, you know, you go to work and for them it was easy to find a job. Like, I don't know if you've been out in the job market lately. No, you haven't. You've been with your husband for a while, but I can tell you last year when I was looking for a new job, it was like a job in itself to look for a job. And then like a few months.
No, it really was.
And then a few months before that, when I was at my previous job, but trying to look for a new job, like having to work and look for a job at the same time was really hard. And like, it's really important to make sure you surround yourself with people who will support you and who will encourage you to keep going, keep looking, you know.
Yeah, to not give up.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, I'm happy for us that we found two very supportive men who will probably listen to this podcast someday and be all like, really? Did you have to talk about me? Like, was it necessary? Now all my friends are going to think I'm a big, huge sap.
I don't know if it's a good or a bad thing that we're talking about them, because I know I'm going to unleash some badass shit about my boyfriend.
It's only natural. Like, first off, speaking of, you know, balance and moving forward through life, like, I'm waiting for that ring. All of the weddings that I'm supposed to go to are done with, including mine. So I'm waiting on yours.
Girl, I know. I mean, we're making progress. So far, he said he opened up a savings account. We'll see if I really believe that.
Though.
Right? But I guess it's the type of ring that I want. I guess it's fat. The ring that I want, I'm not gonna lie. I'm very like low maintenance, but that's the one thing that I want.
You're low maintenance? You had one specific 45-minute time frame within a calendar year that he was allowed to propose to you in. So this is what she had said, was that the only time that Cole could propose to her was during her family's Christmas when they were playing White Elephant. That was the only time.
such a romantic time.
Is it though?
Oh my God.
I mean, is it? Because like
every girl should get proposed to then. It's
during
so romantic.
Christmas, really? Mine was during, I think 5 days before our 9-year anniversary. I mean, he was trying to convince me that like we were just going out to dinner for our 10-year or 9-year anniversary, but I was like, okay, you told me to be photo ready because we were going to take pictures after dinner.
You had a hunch.
That was enough to be like, huh. Maybe, but maybe not. Like, it wasn't anything that cinched it in my mind. What really cinched it in my mind was my freaking mom, who decided to tell me, like, 3 or 4 days before, hey, I heard that Trevor came over to the house to talk to your papa. And I was like, oh, well, now I know what's going on.
Oh, God. Oh, my God. Your mom, I freaking love her, but I swear, she, like, does not know when she needs to shut her mouth.
Oh, I know. She just doesn't catch on to stuff like that. Like, it didn't
yeah,
occur to
like,
her.
she's just, like, oblivious is what it is. Like, and she's so sweet. She's, like, the sweetest little, she's, like, a little saint. And she doesn't mean to, but, like, it's like, come on.
I will say
sometimes you're just like, oh.
She is very sweet. I have my own opinions because, you know, when they're your parents, you're like, you see them from a different side. You're like,
that's true.
This fish, really? Again with this? Like, oh my gosh. Okay, so we were, you know, I was over up in San Francisco not that long ago for our other cousin's wedding. And, like, this is my mom not thinking. Love her to death. But again, her not thinking. She broke her leg, oh my God, like 4 months ago. And yes, we feel bad. We feel for her. But like 2 or 3 weeks before the wedding, the orthopedic surgeon had told her, like, stop using crutches, start walking on the booth. You need to start putting weight on your leg. And she wouldn't do it because she was, by the way, she's also a nurse. So like, I don't understand why she's not listening to her orthopedic surgeon. But, you know, whatever. Who am I to judge?
The attention.
I know. She does want the attention. But anyway, so she could totally be walking on this boot with her leg. She should be walking on it, right? And I'm at Jill's house, and Clyde had just fallen asleep because that little hellraiser
my God.
won't go to sleep. I love him. I love my nephew so much. He's so sweet. Yeah. But I feel for you so bad. All of the videos that you post of him, and when he like won't go to sleep, I'm like, oh dear God, I don't even know how she's gonna make it to work the next day because I couldn't do it. But we just got Clyde to sleep, and then my uncle calls, Jill's dad calls to be like, hey, Tita Rika, who's my mom, wants you to take, or she wants to see Clyde. We're coming outside the house. And Jill and I were like, well, can she just come upstairs and see him? Because he's asleep, and we don't know how long this will last, and we don't want to disturb this. Seriously. And what does my mom say? No, I broke my leg. I can't go up the stairs. I'm like, you can go up the stairs. Why are you waking the baby up?
And of course, when I bring Clyde downstairs, he wakes up.
Oh, yes.
And it took us like, what, an hour and a half to get him down?
Yes, he's so cute. He's so cute, Joel.
Yeah, I know, right?
That's what I just keep telling myself. I'm like, he's so cute. But like, yeah, that is my mom just not thinking it through.
I love her. I love her. But yeah, sometimes she just, exactly, you couldn't have said it more perfectly. She just doesn't think it through. And she doesn't mean to.
No.
She just is oblivious is what I say.
Yeah, it's oblivious, plus she doesn't make the effort to connect the rest of the dots. You know, like she...
For her being so smart.
I know. She's a nurse too. She's a case manager. So she's like handling that paperwork and stuff. And like all of those insurance plans. I don't know if anybody else works in insurance, but it's complicated. I did for like a stint. I did revenue cycle management, which I'm sure no one knows, but it's basically part of the billing process. But it is complicated. And this woman works in it, but she couldn't put 2 and 2 together that if the baby was asleep and she can put weight on her leg, that maybe it's better if she comes upstairs. I know.
I don't even know what to say to that.
At least your mom, like, I love your mom. She is the sweetest ever. Trevor loves going over there because he's always like, is she gonna cook for us? Because she always feeds him because he's a bottomless pit.
She's just the best. She is like everything that I want to be to my son, you know, like that's exactly who I look up to as a mom because, you know, not only is she my mom, but she like is also my therapist when I'm feeling crazy and I need somebody to vent to. She's my best friend that I tell my deepest, darkest secrets to. And
Aww.
she is just like mother of the year. That's my mom for sure.
Oh, definitely.
So I'm very lucky. Very, very lucky.
Your mom's always been the best. I don't know. You have such a good support system around you. Like, how has it been? I'm sure it's been like super helpful having like your sister living below you while like trying to navigate raising your son.
I think in the very beginning, I do recognize I have a lot of help. I'm not going to lie. I have a lot of help.
That's not to take anything away from you. You should absolutely use that.
No, not at all. Exactly. You know, it's true when they say it takes a village because it truly does take a fucking village to raise a little blob of life because there's so much that goes into it. But I think for me, like with my hormones, unfortunately I suffered from postpartum depression. So my mind was in a whole different realm, which I guess that could be just like a whole nother podcast. It'll be a whole nother show we could talk about.
Oh, no.
But it's been great. You know what? When people extend their hands and offer help, you do not turn it down. You just say, come on over. Yeah. So Sarah, whenever you and Boo Boo Bear already have kids,
let's wait on that. We're actually going to travel.
Come to you. I advise that. That's it.
That's what all of our friends say. Like even my girlfriend, she was one of my bridesmaids, Charlotte. She's pregnant right now, and at first she was like, "Oh, I'm so excited for you to get pregnant with me. When are you going to get pregnant?" But like when I brought it up to her, I'm like, we want to travel first. We want to do like some married people things first. She was like, "Oh yeah, no, you definitely should." And everybody says that. Do what you want to do because for Trevor and I, this is the first time in our lives that we have disposable income. So to throw a baby into that right now for us, it's kind of like, why? Why not travel and why not experience the world? That's not to say that we're going to be devastated if a little blessing comes through, but that's always been my plan is, I don't want to have babies right away, which is hilarious because it's such a far cry from what I thought I was going to be like when I was young. Like when I was young, I thought I was going to get married at 21 and start having babies at 22. And I'm like,
we thought that was so old.
Oh my God, I know. And like, I look back at that and I'm like, no, girl.
Like,
what the hell what you want to be doing. Because I think what happens is like you hit 21 and you realize like how fun it is. But like you're still poor at that time for the most part. But you can drink. So you want to keep that going until you're not poor and you can drink and party and everything. And then you start to realize that, settling down, having a kid and everything, it's going to add so much more to your schedule. How do you balance that? How do you keep your youth and keep getting to do all the things that you want to do? And honestly, I think that's one of the great things too about you and I. We're Filipino, and the Filipino culture is very much like you said, Jill. It takes a village. Like everybody's always involved, everyone's always willing to help. And the other kind of like fun thing too, I guess, for like if you're a brand new mom, is that to your parents, like every culture says, like my baby will always be my baby. But in Filipino culture, your baby will really always be your baby. Even when they have a baby, you'll always help. You'll always come through.
So true. So true.
The Filipino culture is very, very supportive and make sure that, you can get done what you need to do and they'll help you out as much as possible while, you raise your kid or whatever you need to be doing.
Right. It's very different from the American culture because the American culture, they take pride in independence.
Yes.
And you see it too, right? Like they take pride in building their own success, which is great. And they take pride in their own privacy and doing their own thing versus like the Filipino culture. They're just right there, right in the situation, right next to you. They are just getting their hands in there versus the American culture. They're kind of like, okay, honey, like figure it out on your own. Like you got it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like it's like, oh, we'll be there for you, but you are your own person. You're going to make your own decisions in life. I don't know why Americans sound like that.
I was going to say, I'm like, I don't know what this voice is. I'm going to let you keep going.
But that's how it sounds. Like,
but I mean, it's so true too. Like, I mean, even if you just look at growing up, I don't think either of our parents would have dared say, you need to get out of the house. You need to, you have to move out. You have to get out of here. But a lot of like American families are like that, where white families, they're all like, hey, are you going to get your own place or are you going to start paying me rent? My parents would never have charged me rent if I lived at home. I mean, I moved out at 19 because I was kind of like a black sheep, not on the side of the family for you, but the other side of the family, like my dad's side of the family, they're very, very Filipino culture. And I was kind of the black sheep.
You're a coconut.
Yeah. Yes. That was always the joke. Like I even had emails. My emails were like coconut girl. What was the other one? Twinkie. And like,
yeah. Like white on the inside, brown on the outside.
I grew up in like a wider community. So I have honestly always had that like sense of independence just from being immersed in there. It's just so different from what I see. Like all of my friends, they always, and this is one thing that I think not just from culture, but just also because, you know, my parents, like my mom in particular, worked so hard and she only had one of me. They paid for my education complete. And then also there were times where I didn't have a job and they would pay my rent even though I had moved out. And I look at like some other friends and I tell them that and they're like, my parents never would have done that. They never would have done that.
Yeah, that's funny that you say that because my parents do the same thing. And full disclosure, we are allowed to kind of talk about American and white people because like we're married to a white person or we have babies with a white person. Yeah. So we kind of like see it all. But it's so true. Like especially with our friends that are.
I like how you say our friends that are white, but over on my side, it's like all my friends are white.
They're all white.
They're all white.
Yeah. You know, not that their parents wouldn't leave them homeless, but it's just that our parents were more willing to like help you out versus theirs is more of like, you know what, you made this decision, you figure it out, that's a good and a bad thing. And us, it's a good and a bad thing because in a way we're a little spoiled.
Like, I mean, you get the mentality in that culture of sink or swim, you know, do or die. You either go for it or you don't. Yeah. Versus, you know, in our culture, we get babied a little bit. We get like, I know that I can definitely fall back into a mindset of like, oh, you know, if I'm having a little bit of trouble this month, I know my parents will help me out, no problem. Yeah, and exactly. I know that I get looked down on for that, you know, even by my own husband. He's like, wait, what? No, you can't do that. But I'm like, but that's my culture. That's how it is with us.
Yeah. Cole even tell me, he was like, you have no idea how spoiled you are. And this is coming from a guy who has like a wealthier upbringing than me. And my parents came from like fucking nothing. And they are like, to this day, they're still helping me out. But the fact that Cole's being like, you are so spoiled with how much help you get just shows in itself how much your parents are there, how much our Filipino parents are there for us compared to theirs, you know? Yeah. It's crazy.
It's the way of our world. And I know that that's always like kind of hard to grasp is like seeing someone brought up in a different way and seeing how it affects them and has shaped their personality, but then like not understanding that perspective. Like I get it. Like, you know, there's been so many times I've talked about myself younger and how I wasn't allowed to go out 2 nights in a row and blah, 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 blah. And Trevor was all like, oh, you know, whenever my mom tried to tell me like I couldn't go out or whatever, I would just tell her, I'm gonna leave and I'll call you when I get back. And I'm like, I could never do that. No.
That's why since we were sneaking out of the house.
Jill and I would always sneak out of the house. We do bad things. Not like super bad. We weren't selling narcotics on the street or anything. I just want to make that clear.
Just like, you know, a little underage, just doing some teenager stuff.
Riding around in cars with boys, my own husband.
Yeah.
But, so, you know, that works. Sometimes kids, that turns out okay, but don't rely on that because that's not always common.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it is a very different culture and a very different way of growing up. And I think it's definitely shaped us and how, you know, we handle things. Both of us are extremely family centric as far as, you know, how we try to balance ourselves. We know that we can easily be like, hey, mom, dad, can you babysit? Hey, sister, can you babysit? Or even aunt and uncle or cousin. It's just that mentality of everybody will help.
Yeah. In the American culture, you couldn't have said it better where they really teach you it's sink or swim versus in our culture, we'll never know what the sink or swim will feel like because no matter what, we're going to be okay.
We always have a fallback. And also too, what we're talking about made me think of this story where our families are always there to help. As long as it's family, they'll always help. And it got to the point where you were like, all of my friends had babysitters that they loved, third-party babysitters that were not related to them in any way, got paid to take care of them. And I had always been watched by a family member and I was jealous. And I begged my parents to get me a babysitter because I was like, I don't understand understand what that's like. My friends couldn't understand how I'd never had a babysitter, that it almost made me feel left out. And it took like a long time for me to realize that that's because it was a very different culture. My own parents were lucky enough to, have family that could watch me and not have to pay for that and everything, which is always definitely great. So, I mean, it's definitely a perk of us. But yeah, I just remember that being so weird of me being like, how have I never had a babysitter? This doesn't make sense to me. Did you ever have a babysitter?
I know now. I think I did have a babysitter.
Did you? I don't remember you ever having one, but I mean, I wasn't there all the time.
Yeah, exactly. I did have a babysitter, whereas our little cousin, when that babysat her was our
the one
grandma.
dripping in finesse.
So. Yes.
We have a cousin who's just a bit, we'll say, over the top about herself.
Yeah.
Because she be driven.
And I guess that's okay. We thought it's something that you'd grow out of, but I guess sometimes you don't.
She was always like, grandma watched her, and like she was the youngest, and how it is in our culture is when you're the youngest, you're the baby. You are the baby. If you cry because you and your cousins got into a fight, even though it's your fault, the adults will always come after the older cousins. It is never your fault, and that really affects certain people who are, again, dripping in finesse, apparently.
You're just sheltered, I guess is what it's called, right?
But like, I mean,
you're sheltered.
I feel like that's one of the extreme examples of growing up the way that we did, where you get the mentality of being on your own for a little bit, but being all like, oh shit, I can go back home. And like literally that's the tone of how this was said to Trevor.
Yeah, basically like family will always be there. That's how we were raised. That was our mentality, was family will always be there no matter what. The saying goes true for our family, for our culture, when they say, blood is thicker than water,
For sure.
So, I mean, this is a good topic. Like how, because you are married to Trevor, who is white.
Is he though? I'm like, oh my
handsome,
God, I didn't notice.
He's a handsome, blue-eyed, blonde hair. Like, even though he will say he's not a Californian, yeah, but he totally looks like a California boy. How was it like with your cultures, with his family and your family? Because we're kind of on the opposite ends of the spectrum here. So how was that?
I mean, his family and mine hasn't interacted too much except for like wedding planning. But as far as like him immersing into the culture, he actually really loved it. He loved that at Christmas, it's the big family. It's the extended family because that's fun, Like I didn't realize until I started spending Christmases with him that not everybody has all of their aunts and uncles and second and third cousins and fourth uncles twice removed come to Christmas. Usually it's only like maybe max 10 people deep, but our Christmases are like 50 people deep, 80 people deep. It's like a family reunion every Christmas, honestly. So, I mean, he really loved that. And then also, there were a lot of times during the wedding where promises fell through on certain sides and things couldn't get paid for. So we were like worried that we would have to take care of it. But, with my parents being who they are and the culture that they come from, they said, no, you kids, you shouldn't have to worry about it. We'll take care of it, which we're so grateful. And I know that he was very uncomfortable with that because he didn't understand when he didn't get the fact that that's just what you do for your children. And someday he and I will be doing that for our kids too, because that's how we are.
Go.
What about Cole? I mean, you guys are raising a kid that's half Filipino, half white. Like, how's that thing going?
I know it's, it's a trip, but I feel that Cole is the same, like in terms of Trevor, like how Trevor feels about your family. That's how Cole is with our family. He was just like, man, like this is what Christmas is like. Christmas is lit on here. Like he would be looking forward to coming to our Christmases versus he was like, man, we got to go to mine where it's sit down, eat dinner and very formal and almost to the point where it's like awkward, and versus here, it's just kind of like you had to show up in your sweatpants and like they're passing out shots and like wanting you to just get like belligerently drunk and have a good time. Yeah. So he loves my family and I love his family, not to say it, but I really, really love his family, but I hope that our son will get the best of both worlds. I hope he will learn Tagalog. I hope he will pick up
How is he going to learn Tagalog when you don't know how to speak it?
I know. My parents are only allowed to talk to him in Tagalog.
I was a little bit scared you were gonna bring our super finessey cousin in to teach him because she's just so immersed and she's so fluent.
Oh my God. Yeah, that'll be another podcast we can talk about. Oh God, that'll take about like a whole day's worth of listening. But yeah, I hope that Clyde, that's our son's name, I hope he gets the best of both worlds. I hope he learns to be independent and he can make a choice for himself and know what the repercussions are going to be. But I also hope he grows up knowing that no matter what, family will always be there. It's very family oriented. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I really hope it's the best of both worlds for
Especially
him.
too with us, I feel like the biggest thing is not just that family's there, but family's there, no strings attached. Because I've seen it's like family's there, but there's these strings. And with ours, it's not like that. It's we help everybody. We always help.
Yeah.
Period. There's no ifs, ands, or buts or conditions on that.
Even if we say that someone is dead to us, really, if they reached out to us, they're not.
But yeah.
Yeah. So tell me more about like your married life and how are you balancing the married life while also trying to be an aspiring fashion and blogger?
Well, like I said, part of the balance is utilizing Trevor as my personal photographer whenever he's available.
Instagram boyfriend.
Instagram husband.
Husband.
Give him the title that he's earned.
Oh my God. It's hard work.
It's tough because, he and I work very, very different schedules, which is very frustrating. I work during the day. I work in a 9 to 5. He's an athletic trainer, so he's working nights with like schools and stuff and their sports teams. So, we'll get home and like only time I really have to like post and really interact with people is after work. So, there is always the struggle of, can you please get off your phone? And I'm like, well, I need to be interacting with people so that I can increase my engagement. So, that is tough.
Right.
And that's a balance that we're still trying to figure out because, I get it from his perspective. Like, he wants to be home with his wife. He wants to talk to me. He wants to know about my day. He wants me to be engaged in the show that we're watching. But at the same time, on my end, I'm just trying to get the hustle in. Like, I'm just trying, I'm trying to grow this. And it's not, and luckily this time around, like I said, I had done Bottled Ambition for a little while, then I left it alone. Part of the reation why I left it alone is because I was doing it to fill a void because I hated my job. But this time around, I love the job that I'm at. Like, I've even thought, like, if this ever takes off, I would totally still work part-time at my job because I love them. I feel like I've almost been a little bit more dedicated because of that, because I'm doing it because I like it. And like, I feel like I'm constantly multitasking. I'm constantly having a conversation with him while typing like a comment to someone to tell them that their dress is cute, or typing up a caption for a post, or trying to go through my explore page to find new people to follow that inspire me.
Right. But I feel like in a way, this is where it ties into about how, Trevor being such a good supportive husband, like that really is successful to a relationship is support. But in terms of him supporting you in the blogging, the vlogging, the beauty industry, like where you're trying to go on the social media and him being there for you, I feel like that is another way of spending quality time by him going out with you to take these pictures, figuring out your certain angles. And I feel like that's like another little obstacle and something, and I'm sure that's something that you guys will learn. You guys are going to learn new things every day because you're doing this whole new thing. It's like a whole new realm that you're getting yourself into, and it's unknown to him as well. So I think in a way that's like a way of you guys spending time together. That's kind of how I feel about me and Cole,
I was going to ask, has he had to be on Instagram boyfriend duty?
He has. Before he was just kind of like, yeah, sure. Go ahead, do your thing, like whatever, because you see me doing my thing as San Francisco food guy. But he is just, he's such an amazing writer. He takes it after his dad. His dad wrote a ton of amazing books, but like I am not a very good writer. My English is terrible. I was raised in a household where English was a second language. So English is terrible for me. But it was a way for us to bond and connect. Was I would put all these posts and I would write, hey, what do you think about this? Like, I think this speaks, these pictures and whatever. And he'll do some edits and like, we'll just talk about the picture and talk about what I'm trying to say. And I feel like that's a way for us learning to, getting to know each other in like different things that we never knew about each other, and, us supporting each other. So doing this is like another way of us spending quality time. Yes, it's more selfish on us, but at least the fact that they take interest in what we are passionate about is awesome. We're very
definitely.
Lucky for that,
he's always telling people all about my Instagram account and stuff. What he doesn't tell them is how annoyed he is when he sees new packages coming to the door because I just did another haul. But
like, oh my God, how much money did she spend on this now?
Any, sponsors are out there who feel sympathetic towards that little fight that I get into. If you can just send me free stuff, that would be helpful.
Right?
Right?
That's our
Exactly.
goal. We're trying to get sponsored out here right now. This is all out of our own free time.
Not that we don't like talking to each other, because we do. But speaking of time, we are almost out of time. We wanted to thank everybody so much for listening in on our very first podcast. We hope we didn't bore you. I'm assuming we didn't, because neither of us were bored. So how could you be bored? But make sure to tune in to next week's podcast. We're doing a really, really fun one. I'm not going to give away too much, but it will definitely be a lot of fun. Also, make sure that you go over to Instagram, follow our Instagrams, support us on our goals to become Instagram stars, please, so that you can hear us babble more like this, because we'll have more free time too.
Rate our podcast.
Yes,
subscribe
definitely.
to us.
Make sure to go follow Jill.
Case of the Mom Days.
Yeah, she's posting lots of great mommy content. I'm hoping that she'll post another screenshot of her FaceTiming her son while she's out in the club. She did that at my bachelorette party. It's one of my favorite mom stories of her. And make sure to go follow me. I am _Bottled Ambition, because some dick actually has the Bottled Ambition account and has posted one picture back in 2014, and I'm really pissed I can't get it. But, that's a different story. But this week on my account, I have a Boohoo haul coming up. I did a little shopping spree on Boohoo. That is going to be on my IGTV on Tuesday. I have my drugstore makeup favorites going up on Friday on IGTV. And every Wednesday, I have a vlog documenting my weekends. So make sure to follow along and tune in. But thank you guys all so much for watching. Yeah, Jill, do you want to say bye? You want to say anything to the people?
Enjoy happy hour with us, and I hope y'all are drinking while y'all are listening to
Unless
us.
you're listening in the morning while driving to work,
guys.
please don't do that. But when you get to work, pour yourself a shot, because I'm sure you'll need it, because it's work. But thank you guys all so much for listening, and we hope to see you guys on the next one, on the next episode of Milk and Whiskey. Bye!
Bye!